I'm scrapping the idea of the epidioscope. It's a bit too big, and I really want something that it's more portable. Obviously it's going to be 5.4. I don't know what it's going to be, a pinhole again. I'm just looking at strapping this in. 2 or 3 I've made before with some sort of mechanism to hold that down tight. What I need to do is to reinforce these arm sections. They're only glued on the bottom here, and given time they'll fall over, they'll break. So I thought of putting a bit of a support on either side, something like this, and then when I drag my straps across, it's not going to be under so much pressure. You've got a glued area there and there, so that'll make it a little bit more rigid. Something to bear in mind when you're using these glues, and that is you don't want an excess of it, because I'm going to stain this later, and if you get too much glue on it, the stain's not going to, well, basically seep into the wood. So just be careful of that. If you've got excess, then wipe it off as quick as possible, because you're going to have to sand it down if you're not careful. Just a little bit too much hassle. You don't want to do that if you don't need to. I do like using this glue. So let's put that there. Just going to give that a clamp. Let's just give it a nice bit of squeeze to start it off with. I'll put these couple of clamps on. This glue goes off in a couple of hours, really. I made a cardboard template. It's 8x8 at the moment, and that's how it was my original thought. But I think it's better. I've added another inch on it, and that looks better. Just thinking about these things sometimes, rather than jumping in feet first and then regretting it afterwards. So I've got 8x9, that's my back. And just thinking how to do my bellows. The first camera I did, I just staggered these, going in about 10mm at a time. And it made a little pyramid, and it did look like bellows, but I've had another think. I'm thinking of doing it like this, so that I've got a small piece of ply in between each, and you see what I mean. When it's painted, you'll get a better idea. In other words, I've got a shadow line, and if I take the corners off, then it'll look more like bellows. I'm getting down to assembling it now. I've got to cut out each one of these layers and then restack them. So this is going to be my lens housing unit, this will be. But you see what I mean? I've actually got to go from here down each one. I've laid out a design for what I want to cut. So it's just a question of snipping away and then reassembling. I'll glue each one separately and restack them. There are various methods. There are various methods of trimming away excess. I like doing the 4 corners first and then going round in a straight line, each one separately, and then start and go back on myself, and then that'll give me a nice straight edge every time. And now I've drilled out all my centres, you can see where we're going. I used MDF before, very dusty, but thought I'd have a go at ply, but I don't know if you can see that there. That's delamination. When you're cutting it, pieces break away. And also in the layers, I don't know if you can see, can you see that? I'll come down a bit. You get the layers, see what's been crushed. Can you see what I mean? When they're doing sheets and they're laying sheets down, one overlaps the other. Yeah, it's okay putting them under pressure, but when you get them, you've got lumps and bumps to deal with as well. I've just got to stick on the lens mount now. I've used screws specifically so I can put different covers on the front. If I'm not happy with a particular lens or a pinhole that I'm putting in, I can take that off and change it. It's otherwise getting at it from the back, it's going to be quite deep. Well, that's me bellows, first coat of paint. I've got the illusion I was looking for in like shadows, so it looks like bellows. But I'm now working on the front, and once I've placed that inside, that's going to be the front of the camera. I want to have like a door coming open of some sort. I thought of using this. I've got this is very nice bit of plywood. It's probably 50 years old, good quality. And that would go there. Let's have a look. So that's going to go on the front. Yeah, we're getting somewhere near it. But I thought of reinforcing my side panels. So it's cutting a piece of timber and putting them in on the sides. It just looks better than a small piece of beading round here, and it makes it look more realistic. You can never have enough clamps. It's coming together quite well now, so it's beginning to look like a camera now. So I've got my bellows glued in, fixed in solid. What I need to do now is to have a platform at the front. In other words, that's the way the door opens. And I've decided that I'm going to start screwing some of these things together, because you always start off with a project and you think, I wish I'd have done this and I wish I'd have done that. But that's going to go in on the bottom there, and then I'll bolt that on the inside. I'll screw that down from there, so that'll be fixed. But I can take it out if I need to make any adjustments. I need to put a fixing on the bottom here for a tripod. My neighbour kindly made these. It's a big washer with the nut, which is the right thread for a tripod. That's going to go on there. I don't think the amount I've got to drill into there, it's going to be good enough. So what I'm going to do is to mount this little block on there, and then I'll drill that, countersink that in, and that will do fine. And I'll do the same thing again. I'll probably put 4 little screws in there to hold it in position in case I want to put something else on there at a later date. You've always got to keep thinking at a later date. Well, I did manage to drill it. I didn't think I would, but I was hoping, because I'd squashed it in the vise, put it under pressure, that the nut, being hexagonal, would stop it spinning, and as by luck it did. But don't recommend it. Find your own way of doing this. And put these retaining screws back. If you don't put clamps on, then you'll find that it doesn't actually draw the two timbers together. So put that on for a start. So we gotta get, there we go. I can feel it biting, and I know it's taken. Yep. Hopefully, take these clamps. That should sit flat when I put it down. That's it. It sits nice and flat, and you can see they're more or less level across the bottom there. More or less, it better be accurate. I'm getting to that part of the project now. Although it's a pinhole camera, I'm going to put a few adornments on it. I've got some old brake pipe fittings here, and thinking of putting something on very similar to this. I'll connect that on, that'll go on there. And any other little bits I can do to make it more like an old-fashioned camera. Even down to, I've got a couple of pieces of metal. I'm going to put them either side. They'll give the illusion of a focusing rail. The same as the first pinhole camera with 5.4 back I built. I'm going to put this style of unit on the back. Basically, I can put my film plate on the back, and then just with a simple elastic band, that creates enough tension for that to hold that there. So that's what I'm going to do with this. I've decided, last time I ended up by chiseling away most of the wood I'd got and then trying to fix with a knot a piece of elastic to it. Then I came up with the idea it'd be much better to keep it simple, drill a small hole, put that through there, and then just put a couple of small pins in, small tacks, and that should hold it. And at the top, what I've got is, these basically are shelf bracket units. So I put that at the top, and that's where my elastic band will stretch to. So I just need to attach this on the bottom, then paint it and finish it. It's just getting the tension right, so a few adjustments until I get it exactly set. As part of the light trap on the back, I've used this velour. It's about a 10mm velour, and I've secured that all the way around. That's part of my light trap system. Just when you think you've done it all, I suddenly had a horrible feeling. I should have left a little hump here, and I haven't done that. What I need to do is put a piece of slim card or something, and then I thought probably I need something about the thickness of a lollipop stick. Believe it or not, I did manage to, with the aid of a Stanley knife, trim that. That's just what I want. So that needs to be secured in there, and then that's part of the light trap. Just pull that back there. So I just need to glue that and fix that in now. You don't need a lot of glue, just only a small piece of wood. There we go. And that will go off in a few minutes. So there we go, the finished article. It does look like a 1900s camera, and overall I'm quite pleased with it. Even the tiki effect, considering this is pine underneath, it does look a period camera. And my little bits of brass adornment, they do nothing really, but it just gives the illusion basically that it's that type of camera. And I can put a 5x4 paper negative in there, and I'll use it as a pinhole camera. I did make another lens unit that went on the front for display purposes really, because when it's in the house it'll have that on it and it'll stop people saying, "Where's your lens?" They know nothing about pinhole cameras. There's my lens, I would say. They're just befuddled, as they say, befuddled. But yeah, even down to the bellows effect, it does look like one. Anyway, if you liked it, subscribe, give us a tick. See you soon. Got a few more projects yet. Bye.